Look who showed up, Nikki.
Hi.
Good morning. Good morning. Let me tell you, Nikita, I help caretake for my folks, so sometimes that'll throw me off, but I'm here.
That's
We done
awesome.
talk bad about you. Didn't tell you.
I know Julius did. I know he did. I know Nikita was being nice.
We
Yes.
have talked about you.
Look, I was concerned I was gonna be late. I was like, okay, he's gonna be calling me here in a second. Any second.
No, look,
Yeah.
man, what's so funny? I get up, I do the stuff for them, and I lay back down, and sometimes that throws me off. So, but
Yeah.
good morning to you. Good morning to our viewers in Georgia, Savannah, and across the world. We're back another Saturday.
Yes.
Yep, and we have a wonderful guest, Julius, a candidate for the Department or the Agriculture Commissioner. So the Department of Agriculture would be something that you would lead should you be elected. So I guess we'll start off, Julius, by asking Nikita to tell us a little bit about herself and what kind of led her to put her name in the hat.
Yes, awesome. So, again, my name is Nikita Hemingway, and I am a Georgia native. I'm a mother of four, married professionally. I'm a cut flower farmer, a realtor of more than 20 years. I'm an entrepreneur. I've owned multiple businesses, currently still do. And I'm just passionate about bringing change to Georgia and making sure that everyone, regardless of socioeconomic background, regardless of citizenship, if you call Georgia home, you have the best opportunities to live life on your terms. Um, I never saw myself as a politician. I grew up, I'm from Savannah, and I grew up in the metropolitan area, metropolitan Atlanta area. It was my mom. I have a sister and brother. So it was a single parent home. And one of the things she taught us is the importance of showing up for your community. And it's not a dollar amount attached to it, it's a heartfelt action.
Mm,
And regardless of who you are, where you are in life, you have the ability to affect the people around you and be a leader, and that has echoed through every aspect of my life. And I see it not only in my siblings, but also in our children, because our children are starting to show up, and they're all different ages. And by the way, my kids, 24 to 4 years old. And
well, okay.
Wow.
it matters. So I'm just happy to be here on the show. I won't say too much. I'll let you guys ask me the questions and respond to those. But this is an opportunity for us to really get it right and to show up, and that's why I'm here.
Well, we won't have a problem with anything you do or say as long as you don't tell people, especially Dr. Jamal Torre, anything about what high school you
You
attended
know, you
one
say
year.
just like me. I was going to ask that very next question.
No, we can't let her say that. I already know.
So,
I got a feeling it's the best one in the city, but I mean, hey.
So it's so funny. So like I said, I grew up in the Metro Atlanta area. We didn't have a lot when I was growing up, but I want
Hmm.
to tell you guys the testament of personal power and will. I saw my mother go from being a maid cleaning hotel rooms to a supervisor in a hotel to a manager in the hotel. And then after that, she went to hair school when I was 17 years old. And so we were sent to Savannah to live with my uncle. So I went to Jenkins High School for a semester.
Oh my God. Time to go. Time to go.
But
You lucky we not gonna hold that against you.
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
hold that against me.
That
And
was my donation right there.
but
So-
in telling her story, she went on to become a hairstylist. She owned her own hair salon for 20 plus years, and she retired at 59. So and she's definitely my role model. So yeah, so I got to spend a semester down in Jenkins High School, but that is the backstory behind it. So
Okay. So,
Awesome.
if you could tell us, and it's just helpful to know, what does a agriculture commissioner do?
So agriculture commissioner is the second most important race in the state of Georgia because agriculture touches on every aspect of an individual's lives. In Georgia, it is our number one industry. It contributes more than 70 billion to our economy. It creates more than 359,000 jobs. But anything that relates to you personally, like food security, the environment, the goods that make your clothing, fuel your automobiles, all of that stems from the space of agriculture. And even the seafood industry down in Savannah is connected to the agricultural space. So this is a very, very important race. There are some amazing things that we can do in this seat to build Georgia to be stronger and more profitable.
Very cool, very cool. So, one of the things that I had a chance to do last year with Daniel Blackman was kind of go throughout the state and meet people as we connected for Public Service Commissioner. How has that been for you, given now that we're coming up out of COVID, right?
Yeah.
But still kind of living in that space. How does that look for you in your campaign?
So we're following, definitely COVID-19 protocol safety guidelines, but by no means is it keeping me sitting behind my computer screen. We're getting out, we're meeting folks, and we're keeping it within their comfort zone. But more importantly, I think it's important for people to see me in physical, real space and to know that, number one, not only am I here, but ironically, I've always been here. And two, change is more important than just staying stagnant in this. So we're being strategic about our activities, keeping health and safety in our mindsets, but we're also just making sure that we actually get out in these spaces and stay engaged and get connected with voters.
Awesome. That's awesome. So you're trying to be the 17th agriculture commissioner in the history of the state of Georgia and the first Black, correct?
So not only am I the first Black, I would be the first woman in the state of Georgia, and I would be the first Black and the first Black in the United States and the second woman in the United States in all of our history. Yes.
Wow. See, that's history that we need to be a part of.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. And let me tell you how profound this is, not only just for me, but for the people of Georgia, because I'm fortunate in that I've been able to trace my ancestry back to the first slave. Her name was Sack that came here. I'm Gullah and Geechee, by the way. And my ancestors who started off as slaves became rice farmers in Georgia. Most people don't look at the fact that Georgia was founded upon agriculture. This is our foundation. And agriculture is definitely tied to the African-American plight. It's our story. It's a part of our identity. So this is profound. This is a big moment for us.
Somebody asking what time at the Georgia Bulldog game today.
Well, it doesn't matter because we're going to win anyway. South Carolina, I feel sorry for you, but hey, we doesn't actually decide to be on our schedule. So, which is a great thing. And hopefully you don't get this wrong. What is your favorite college football team in the state of Georgia? There's only really three real teams. So you got three options.
So I'm gonna have to say it's tricky. Georgia, I actually have a cousin who, D'Angelo Tyson,
really?
In Statesboro. Yes, he's my cousin. He played at Georgia and then went on to play for the Ravens. And then my brother actually played at Georgia Military College, at Georgia Southern, and at Morehouse. So
okay, you're back in my good graces. As long as you said Savannah State, Georgia Southern, or UGA, you're fine with me. All the other schools don't matter. The other ones don't matter.
Definitely. And Georgia's in my backyard, by the way. Definitely Georgia. But hey, I support the other teams as well, too. The ones I mentioned.
Okay. I hear y'all. Georgia Southern is my favorite, and then Georgia Tech.
Nice.
Tech
So,
is Tech is just around just for the I don't know. Now hush.
and
Hey,
Yeah.
that's
Tech was killing it in the 90s. Like they were just crushing it. So I have hope. I think they can get back into the tops conversations.
Yeah, we'll be nice to him today. So tell us a little bit about your vision and your platform as you kind of move throughout the state and campaign and tell people why they should vote for you.
Yes. So my vision, it's centered around three things, which is education, opportunity, and resources. It is important for people to know that even though agriculture is the number one industry in the state, even though that agriculture is what our state was founded upon, 80% of the food we consume in the state of Georgia is imported. So, what that tells you is that farmers from around the world are more profitable in the state of Georgia than Georgia farmers, and we've got to change that. This month is Hunger Awareness Month, and there are 1.1 million people in the state of Georgia that are living near hunger. 337,000 of those are children. One of the things for our campaign and what we've committed to is eradicating childhood hunger by 2025. Oftentimes when we're talking about, how do we address hunger? How do we address food security? It's not about the resources, it's about the policies. And when we have good policymakers who can find opportunities, create opportunities, and make things more accessible, that is how we change the narrative, and that is how we make life better for those. And when we're looking at rural development and advancing rural communities, it's very important that we recognize that proper nutrition plays an important role into the success of people. A person who's born into poverty without proper nutrition is 10 times more likely to stay in poverty, and it becomes a generational issue. So, but when you're giving them quality foods and you're giving them opportunity and access, they're able to pull themselves out of poverty and in that generational cycle. So the investments that we need to make in this space, we need to look at it from a spectrum of opportunities for Georgia: food security, economic opportunity, growing our rural communities, education. Those are all the things that are at the forefront of this campaign. And I believe that being a Georgia native, being African American, having even challenges myself as a farmer, and recognizing that we can do things differently, I think that's what this department needs, because it's been the same old system for 17 different ag commissioners, almost 200 plus years, and we can do better. We need a new perspective.
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, but it's about time we got to get. But Black is not running again.
Gary's running against Warnock.
That is
Well,
correct.
first, Gary's running against Herschel. I don't know what's wrong with my man Walker. Then, should he beat Herschel, I don't know what's wrong with my man Walker. Then he can run against Warnock.
That's kind of strange, because you would think that the Republican Party would tell him not to run because that's Trump's boy. And Gary's jumping out there, I guess, and he's going to, if Trump is backing Herschel, Gary don't have a chance.
Well, here's the thing in Georgia. You got the Kemp silo and you got the Trump silo. Both are pretty strong silos of people. So that's going to be interesting about which evil wins out of that whole setup.
Well, we want to make sure that that he is out of Nikita's way, so that we won't have no problem with seeing how to get. Who the guy we had on last week?
The last was the other Democratic. What's his name? The other Democratic candidate was Fred Swan.
Yeah, Swan.
Mm-hmm.
So you and Swan, we probably have y'all on so y'all can give y'all ideas on together before the election. Also,
Okay.
we could just do a simple race. I think a simple race where we just, like a relay.
Yeah. And,
and
so
we like to have fun, Nikita. So I'm glad.
Me too. It's good.
Yeah, because he's I didn't know anything. I think you were on a show with Jay a couple of months, about a month or so ago, when we had you all on, and Jay was moderating it for the Democratic Party, that it'll be great and I knew about you, but I didn't know that you were from Savannah. So you get the nod from being from Savannah,
Yes.
But whoever comes out of that, that's who we'll be supporting wholeheartedly anyway. Off the Democratic side, I know I'll be. You I'm not gonna hold that you were a warrior for a few months against you.
But she probably met Ray and decided I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we're gonna be with you 100%. We and hopefully we can get a Democrat in that seat, you preferably. Since you're a Savannah girl, and we know that Savannah's gonna come out 100% behind you. Everything that we do here, we're gonna try to make sure that y'all are a part of.
Thank you.
And so that you can get on all the other shows. We have other shows for you to be on also. Okay. That has a good following. Keisha and Alicia, they're sitting councilwomen here.
Awesome.
And they have shows. So you might have to take a trip to come be on Alicia's show. It's on a Tuesday night.
He said it.
Let me just say this. Anytime I can spend down in Savannah sleeping on my uncle's couch, I get the best breakfast in the world.
Wait a minute. Wait, what's being cooked? Because I'm at the, come meet you there.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's good at omelets, but listen to him. He's the king of everything. But he's
that's fine. As long as there's some shrimp and grits going on, I'll come over there and make sure I drive.
What's your uncle's name?
Gregory Tyson.
Greg Tyson?
Yes.
Okay. We had a Greg Tyson that was a pastor here that passed a few years ago.
Okay. Yeah, not the same Greg Tyson. But
I don't think that's the same person.
No, not the same.
Yes, I'm a Tyson and a Scott. So
okay, which Scotts?
Good question. I can't tell you that. So Benji Scott, there is a Zachary Scott. He's
I know Zach. Zach is married to my cousin.
Okay.
Oh Lord, y'all related now. Julius, I got a friend named James. James and Julius are related to everybody in Chatham County.
I have a very large family. I don't think no family in the county, probably in the state, is bigger than my family. Okay. And I have a very, very large family.
I can. So in Girard, Georgia, my mom's father is from Girard, Georgia. And here's an interesting fact. He was born in 1898. He played Negro Leagues baseball, but he is a Reddick. And he had 29 sisters and brothers.
Wow.
So, they run deep.
29, Robert.
29.
Right. You probably know Bonzo Reddick. You know Bonzo Reddick. That's a Reddick. He's a physician.
Okay.
But being that you are from Girard, the Prescotts are from Girard also. Ask your family whether they know the Prescotts. They're good friends of mine. Here, they're out of West Savannah, out of Woodsville. So you might know them also. But the reason I ask all this is because we need you to get to all of your family needs to know that you're from Savannah, that you are running, and that you and that they need to give you the support. That's why I ask these names, because people need to resonate and remember these names so that we can get everybody behind you. Because this is a historical moment.
Yes, it is. I completely agree. And you know what? It's for me, this is circular because growing up, spending time in the South, especially with my grandmother, everywhere we go, her first statement was, "Who your people?" What's your name? And I just thought that was just so weird. Why? Like, grandma, it doesn't matter. This is a person, But in being the age I am now and recognizing that family is important. And knowing who you're connected to, that is important. Mm-hmm. That's how you are able to support each other, stick together, and keep moving forward. So, yes. Yeah,
that's so true. So one of the things we talked about before in the past, just to get, we ebb and flow. So I appreciate you being flexible. What are your thoughts around, if at all, around community gardening?
I love it. So one of the initiatives we are planning on rolling out is more education for community gardens. My mother said something profound to me about 7 months ago, and she said, raising you guys was hard, and I was so inundated with making sure you had a roof over your head, making sure you were healthy, having all these things, and never once dawned on me to start a garden. And she grew up with her mother who was a farmer. So making sure that we educate people in this space on how you can grow your own food is going to be very, very impactful in making sure we address, solve those issues around food insecurity. Right now, and it is cheaper to have a meal from McDonald's than to buy something healthier in the grocery store. And having access to organic foods, it seems like it is just a challenge. But when you grow your own, it's more economical because you're growing it and it's only costing you your labor, cost of seeds and taking care of that plant. But also that knowledge stays with you and you're able to pass it on for generations to come. So very, very important to me that we expand our efforts in creating education and hands-on experiences for people to grow and also have the support that they need. So as they're maturing in this space, they're just not left alone.
That's great. And we understand that the agricultural department regulates a whole lot of things.
Yes.
Grocery stores, convenience stores, food warehouses,
Yes.
Pets,
Yes.
gasoline,
Yes.
pesticides, food safety. It just goes on and on. It's a big
Yes.
department, a lot of responsibility.
It is a huge responsibility, but you also have consumer affairs. So advocating for your rights and your protections, that is important. The water industry, product labeling is within this wheelhouse. And now that we have hemp growing in the state of Georgia, here's an interesting thing. The DEA is no longer stepping in to regulate, or to make sure that these fields are burned down when they're outside of regulation. All of that falls up under the Department of Agriculture. So there is that policing, regulating unit that is attached to this space. And, we talked about my Democratic opponent, but let's talk about my Republican opponent. I'm not going to even mention his name, but
I'm glad you don't.
Yeah. But
nothing.
he lets people know he's eighth generation farmer, and it's highly documented, not only his racist past but also his family's racist past. So when we're talking about the fact that the ag commissioner has policing powers in some of these districts, do we really want that type of person having this type of power governing our farmers but also in our communities? So these are all the things we have to look at in this space to make sure that we keep the people of Georgia safe and we create the opportunities that everyone, regardless of color, need. So.
And really quick, you all, just a quick thing. If I leave, I hear you. I have a father who's 94, so I don't allow either of them to lift their finger or do anything. So I'm running to go do. He's in the kitchen now, so I'm going to see, what are you doing? You let me do it. Not that they can't, but like I tell them all the time, I said, you raised me and my brother. It's time for us to raise, to
Right.
well, yeah. So,
Right.
Yeah. But
Right.
Nikita, you said a key piece right there with the hemp industry. What are your thoughts around it? It's such it's a $1 billion industry. I
Yes.
think the state of Georgia, under our Kemp rule dictatorship, have lost sight of things that's going to help the people. And you're
Yes.
exactly right. We could talk about the policing and their inability to understand that minorities are in this state. I think they think they're all white state. But let's
Yes.
go back to Kemp. What are your thoughts around that, and how do we leverage that, if at all, for economic growth in the state?
So this is why education is important. This is why understanding, not just putting your name on a ballot because, I care about agriculture. This is why understanding what the rules are, understanding economics, understanding business, why all of this is important. So, and I'm going to get off my soapbox on that, but to answer your question, Georgia legalizing hemp for the cultivation of THC is a good step, but it should not be our resting place. It should not be our destination. I am pushing for the full legalization of cannabis for multiple reasons, outside of just the low hanging fruit of, this creates opportunity for us to progress in our, in a criminal justice system. Hemp has over 25,000 uses. And that includes combating issues like climate change. It takes hemp 4 months to reach maturity. It takes a tree 25 years. So, what most don't know is that 1 acre of hemp can sequester 4.2 tons of carbon out of the environment in 1 year. An acre of trees can sequester 6.5 tons out of the environment every 10 years. So in places where we have environmental justice zones, places like Waycross and parts of Savannah where you can't afford to wait to grow trees, it takes nothing for us to implement these carbon farming practices using products like hemp. Sunflowers is another people don't know about, and it can do great good for our environment. The other thing is hemp, when it's fully harvested, it can be used in a product called hempcrete, which supplements the use of concrete. It's not as strong, but it can be as strong with the addition of rebar. And what this does is now we are able to address issues within the building industry. Right now, we're having a global shortage on key building materials. And as a result of it, the housing market is through the roof. So when you're looking at how can we achieve, affordable housing, it starts in the agricultural department by making sure we have resources so that every industry functions efficiently. So we have a true market, and then we're able to create more opportunities. So definitely, I am pro cannabis. And here's the other point. Being a flower farmer myself, I know it doesn't matter how many years you have in this space. When you're starting with a new crop, there is a learning curve of about 3 to 5 years. It takes the average farmer $500 to plant an acre of hemp. If that crop comes in above the 0.3% or 0.03% THC levels, they're forced to burn their fields. They don't get that money back. But if we fully legalize cannabis, you can then say, well, it doesn't meet the medicinal uses, but here are a slew of other uses in which you can sell your crop for. So we've got to look at this from a spectrum of issues and say, okay, this is why this is more important, and this is why we have to do it now.
Yeah, I just think it's ridiculous. And people, and I said this when Fred was here, it's ridiculous that people just jump on a bandwagon of, oh, it's illegal. If you do your history, you understand why it's illegal in the first place. It was in competition with cotton. And back then, if you were in competition with the white man's cotton, then you were going to get your behind spanked. And so what other way to dilute that or get rid of it but to make it illegal? So now we got, but let's finish the story up. The story goes like this. Now we got our black and brown brothers and sisters in jail, in prison for a plant, for God's sakes, for something equal to oregano. And like you said earlier, now we're realizing, oh, there's good uses to this. Now we can make it legal. Interesting, right? But yet you'll let Buddy Carter go peddle opioids to people, and now all of a sudden that's okay.
So
but we won't get on that soapbox.
So look, I'm going to take you even a step further with that. So one of the things people don't know is hemp is actually considered a superfood because it's a vegetable.
Yep.
Wow.
It is a vegetable, and it's the oldest farmed crop. The regulations, the prohibition on the use of hemp, like you stated, it was the cotton industry, but it was also the wood industry, because hemp can produce 5 times more paper than wood can.
Yes.
It replaces wood in a lot of spaces, and so this particular crop was a detriment, or the way that they saw it, it endangered opportunities in other spaces. William Randolph Hearst was one of the biggest advocates for this because he was a newspaper man, and because this was a risk to his business. So fully understanding, as you've stated, why things were prohibited And then coming back to this space, is important. You could do some research and find out that the US government relied on hemp cultivation during World War II to supplement our economy. So, education, opportunity, and resources, which are my pillars in this campaign, is very important that you understand the connectedness in this space and that you have the resources to change it. And we have the opportunity to do that now.
And Julius, I even looked at the other day. I do a lot of YouTubing, so I saw the hemp concrete.
Yes,
and it's so neat. Like it's even flame resistant.
Flame retardant. Yes.
Burn it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
it won't
that.
burn down.
It
Yes.
seems like the benefits of hemp just outweigh massively the illegalities of the product. And like you said, now is the time to change it because there's so many people. It was in the way of cotton back then, and now you have so many things of superfood that has all these benefits that we could use. It's just crazy that they still want to find a way to regulate it so that everybody can't make it, so they can regulate it to the point where it's benefiting the states, I guess, instead of benefiting everybody else. You can't just grow it like everybody else grows it, or like you grow fruit. You can't just grow it like you grow fruit. So I guess that's the hurdle that we have to cross.
Well, then, and there is another perspective to this. If we look at the economic impact, right? Hemp farmers in states like Georgia, where it's THC legal, they're making between 90, 140,000 an acre. That's the earnings potentials. When you have states like California, Oregon, Colorado, where it is 100% legal, those farmers are making up to $1 million an acre. Imagine how much more money the state will generate just off of taxing this in these rural communities. Now you have revenue that these communities are generating, that you can get broadband, that you can, we're talking about infrastructure nationally, but there's so many things that we can do within our state ourselves to increase revenue, to build up our rural communities, to create more opportunities. And it begins with a better vision for this office.
Awesome. And you sound like the right person that we need to be putting in there. I know that. Robert gonna do everything he can.
Hey, yeah. We definitely got to show up. The reality of this, and it's it hit us hardest the most in 2020, and we're seeing it, is that the state of our world, the state of our communities, our townships, the state of everything, it's not one person's problems, it's all of our problem. We all actively played a role in the state of our country the way it is today. And that can be done by not paying attention, not getting engaged, and allowing others to do it, and just not fighting for what is right for our people. More than anything, people like myself, yourself, Julius, Robert, we can show up, but it's up to the voters to elect people like me. So this is definitely a team effort, and just encouraging everyone to make sure you show up, because we have an opportunity to make our state better for everyone. We just got to everybody has to play their role.
And I definitely want to talk about how do you get voters out. But one of the things that just popped in my head that I definitely want to ask, and we talked about this with Fred, and so we're trying to be as fair as possible so the viewers can, do an equal comparison. What are your thoughts about working with a Warnock and an Ossoff? We know that Warnock stood tall, and by the way, Warnock is my guy. But he's from Savannah. Hey, we can do a whole Savannah thing. Look, we get you in Warnock. I'll come back up there, that PSC thing. Man, Savannah, Chatham County, we'll run this thing. But anyway, but what are your thoughts about getting Black farmers their just due, and getting our Black farmers like yourself the resources, the not necessarily reparations, but getting Black farmers a piece of the pie that they've been excluded from for so many years?
So you said a mouthful, and I have an answer, and a lot of people are not going to like it, but at the end of the day, it is the truth. Um, until America apologizes to the Black and brown people, we're always going to be stuck putting a band-aid on the issues, trying to create cutout programs to supplement the injustices that have happened. And you see where that gets us, because now the aid money that Warnock got for farmers is tied up in court, and they're likely going to keep that tied up for a number of years. And there is a possible reality we need to be aware of, that these farmers may not be able to get that money, and that's devastating. So it's twofold. Number one is, like it or not, this country has to pay reparations for some of the stuff that they've done. And that includes these farmers who have been disenfranchised and didn't get the resources that they need in order to be successful in their businesses. But then going forward, the best way that I can fight for African American farmers is by making sure the Department of Agriculture in the state of Georgia work justly for everyone. I can't single out one group of farmers, but when the system works, everyone succeeds. And one of the things my opponent doesn't understand, Fred Swan thinks this is about access to loans, and this is about, being able to just get seeds. Yeah, the seeds are important, but this is not about loans. This is not what you think it is. This is about economic opportunity, because number one, if you're making the amount of money you need to make, you don't need a loan. So let's talk about that. Let's make sure that they can make money and be profitable in their business. Let's not talk about a debt instrument, because you think a debt instrument is the only way to create justice. That's not how we do this. You want people to understand, to be able to succeed and be successful. This is how you do it. If you want to pass regulation around agritourism, which creates opportunities for farmers to be independently successful and not have to rely on government subsidies, then you're going to need someone who's sitting in that agricultural commission seat who has a background in travel, who understands agritourism. And by the way, my first business was a travel agency. And I owned that for 3 years before it went under due to the dot-com boom. If you want someone who's going to understand that we need more entrepreneurial opportunities, that this is even bigger than our farmers, because oftentimes at these farmers markets, what often coexists is micro enterprises. So you have people who make soap and people who make jewelry and do all these different types of businesses. They thrive off of that. They're ag adjacent businesses, and they need more opportunities to be successful. So in order to get there, you have to have someone who has not only an entrepreneur's heart, but an entrepreneur's vision. And I've been an entrepreneur since I was 21 years old. So again, this is a unique space. There is a lot in this office, but you have to have the right person with the right vision in order to bring all this forward. And that is what we need.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm sorry, just let me just give her a compliment, because I love the passion you just showed. And the other thing I like that I don't see from many, and you're not a politician, you're a public leader. Let me relabel you. You're a public leader. The difference between a politician and a public leader is a politician blows hot air with no ideas, right? You just showed a passion that I can really appreciate. And the other thing you showed me that too many don't have is that you're willing to stand on your own when the idea may not be popular. So I just want to tell you I appreciate that.
And it's crazy, and that's what you just said just now for the last 4 or 5 minutes needs to be said every time you go anywhere, because Robert and I were thinking the same thing, the exact same thing. That's why I put up this comment from a viewer. Malvie said, she sounds like a progressive Democrat we need in office. And I was just, Robert, right before you, I was about to say the exact same thing, because girl, if you ain't agriculture commissioner, we can go somewhere.
Just like she was on there preaching. She was preaching. I started doing my time.
We need you somewhere. You are awesome. I mean, seriously.
Thank
you. You are very articulate, very intelligent. You have a sense of caring, and wanting to make a positive change, not to go and sell out. A lot of people just want to go into these offices and be about them, and they think that it's all about them. But we see and we hear, and that's what people got to start doing, opening their eyes and opening their ears and listening to what a person says. You can tell whether it's about them or whether it's about the people. And with you, we can tell it's about the people. And we need to get your voice and you out there on everything. I hope that all the women, Keisha Gibson Carter's listening, all the women, Alicia Blake, Jay Jones on his show, It Is What It Is.
I know the three of them better be watching.
Yeah. You need to be on all these shows talking, and we're going to do whatever we can to facilitate that.
Look at this. Look at you get all kind of compliments. If y'all feel so good, y'all better be donating. You better donate.
That's right. Donate. Donate.
Y'all better pass the hat now. Hey.
Make sure you send your signs this way so we can put them in our yards.
Hey, Jay has signs, so if he has any, light them up.
Jimmy J say he had no
Jimmy
signs.
J, where you at, Jimmy J? If you listening, Jimmy J, you need to get on here and tell everybody where they can pick these signs up from you at.
Yes.
Okay, Jay. Jimmy J, hold him now. Now, James, in all fairness, James is an awesome person. We pick on him because we love him. So
that's my boy. He was up late last night.
They been not run up on Jimmy J. So we jump folk down here.
Hey, Jay's my brother. Jay's a good man, so
he's awesome.
That. And he has a phenomenal tribe, a beautiful wife behind him. I mean, he's just phenomenal. So.
We ain't gonna tell you what he said about you last night, though.
It better been good, because I'll call him up in a minute.
but and this is the thing that James that he works on a lot, and I'd love to get your feedback. How do you get those voters who have typically not engaged with voting, or don't understand voting, or don't want to vote, like here in the first congressional district? We have a huge, over 7 last election. How do you get them inspired and motivated to come out to vote?
I believe like this moment, you show them the connectedness of why this should matter to you. You know, one of the things I do, every platform that I have, that is the first thought, is how do I get you excited about this race, and how do I help you understand that your participation is not only needed but required? Because it is not a solo effort. We're in this together, and it doesn't work if we all don't show up. You can hoop and holler all you want. We can talk about police disenfranchisement, but let's be real. How many of our boys are actually signing up at the police academy? Because, our oppressors, they always show up.
Ooh.
Think about that. They always show up, and they won't get in these positions of power. They won't be able to negatively impact your life if they're not the ones showing up. So now we've got to show up.
That's it's funny that you said it, and that's one of the things that I preach to hire locally, because these people know the communities.
Yes.
When you hire somebody from Nevada, North Dakota or Wyoming and South Dakota, and you bring them in here to police area and an environment that they're not used to, then they act in a way that is foreign to us. Exactly. And it could be detrimental to us. And so that's one of the things that I preach every day too. So it's funny that you say that. We need that.
Yes.
Yeah. But like I said, Nikita Hemingway for governor in 4 years.
I don't know. Stacey might have something to say about that.
Look, I know when to stay in my lane, and agriculture is my lane.
Now you see, Sherelle said, I just tuned in 10 minutes ago, and from what I've heard, she already has my vote. Your voice needs to be heard everywhere. Keisha and Alicia, y'all have this young woman on your show this week or next week, and we'll set it up.
Yeah,
Teray, Dr. Teray, and Jay Jones. You're going to be, so just make time, because you're going to be on all our shows and start talking to the people here so everybody can hear you, because you're very, very, very articulate in what we need.
Thank
And
you.
I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. I know I am, but it's all good. So, whomever comes out of the primary the winner, I just hope this time that the Democratic Party of Georgia stands up and supports its candidates. That's
Yes.
something that we did not see in the last election, and we've got to do better than just worrying about the Senate and just worrying about the governorship. We got to start worrying about every last one of these seats, from ag commissioner to the labor commissioner, because they're very important. They impact people's lives on a daily basis.
Yes.
You're looking at Plant Vogel. People don't even realize this. Plant Vogel, I don't even talk about this stuff anymore. Plant Vogel is delayed yet another 5 to 6 years, and that's another $10 billion
Wow.
on your bill if you're a Georgia Power customer. So, I mean, we got to do a better job, Democratic Party of Georgia. We need to find a leader at the head of that ship, and I don't care who gets mad. Somebody needs to lead the ship who understands what that looks like.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that's
So
why.
I don't mean to drop your name there,
It's
because I ain't
okay.
getting you in trouble now.
No, you're fine. I mean, those you're entitled to your perspectives, and you
Yeah.
should say those because it's what you feel in your heart to be true. I think it should be heard. And the other thing is, this is why we've got to make sure that people show up and vote. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not going to tell you all of what I know, but I'll tell you this: it matters when you have people who actually are running for office study the job. Because what I
Yeah.
can tell you is, I don't care what Democrat is on that ticket. In this race, there's only one person qualified to hold that seat legally, and that person's name is not Fred Swan. So I'm
Well,
just going to leave it there. Because so if you're not voting for Nikita Hemingway, it's a wasted vote, because he will never, even if he won the Democratic primary, even if he won the state of Georgia, if you don't know the laws of the state, you don't recognize that he will never be allowed to hold that seat, because there's certain things he is supposed to have that he don't have.
ooh,
So
Julius,
this
your
is
turn.
why it is important that we show up.
Baby, you a sister. You don't play it.
Yeah, and we're gonna get you on Mona Lisa Monroe show too. She got a Thursday
No,
morning show.
she done been around. She done been around Alicia and Keisha already, because she had an I said it moment right there. That was like Alicia Blakely. Well, she don't mind, and I love her for that. She don't mind saying what she gotta say, but she'll follow
Yeah,
up with I said it.
yeah, I said it.
She even got a T-shirt now, Julius.
Yeah, I know.
And she ain't gave me. By the way, Alicia, you ain't getting my T-shirt yet, so I ain't gonna mention your name no more till I get a T-shirt.
Yes, I said it. She will. She will tell you that, because she will give you the information the way that you supposed to have it. She's not hiding anything. She
Yeah,
believes that the public should be informed, and
you
she
should.
tells you. And that's
Agreed.
what it's all about. It's about being a public servant, not a politician. A politician hides things and thinks that it's all about them. These are public servants. Alicia and Keisha, Bernetta, these are public servants.
Agreed.
And we got several shows. We need to get you on Mona Lisa Monroe Morning Show on Thursdays at 10 o'clock. We need to get you on there also. It's all these shows will be, just give us a call. We're going to be hooking it up for you. We are ad hoc campaign committee here in Savannah.
Hey, I love it.
Yeah, Chatham County is what, the second largest? I know we're in the top 5, top 3
Yeah,
of eligible voters. So, like I tell people all the time, Chatham County is very critical to anybody's success in an election. Matter of fact, if we look back when Joe Biden was running, Chatham County was that area that they were looking at to do all of this retabulation. So Chatham County really carries its weight when it comes to Georgia. We love you, Fulton, but we run it down here too.
yeah.
Somebody said something about food deserts. What was
I
that?
love co-ops. I
Yes.
love co-ops. I lived in
So,
Virginia for a minute, so I know, yeah, co-ops are awesome. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
yes. So, Rebecca, I touched on it a little, but not in the conventional sense. So I'll just bring it all home. One of the biggest challenges we have in the state of Georgia, even though it's an ag first state, even though it is the most profitable industry in our state, creating more jobs, and we have over 68,000 farmers in this state. Farmers around the world are more profitable in Georgia because 80% of the food we consume is imported. So making sure that we have a plan to get Georgia grown products on the shelves in grocery stores in every category and get premium placement, that is something that I'm committed to working on. The other thing I'm committed to is ensuring that we have a locals farmers market in every county, in all 159 counties throughout the state. Because it's not just the farmers that benefit from it, it's also the small business owners that benefit from it. And it builds community and it creates access to locally grown foods. And then the other aspect we're committing to is we're committing to eradicating childhood hunger by 2025. And the parts of the ways that you get there is, number one, educating people about programs that already exist, which is the SNAP program. That should be in every pamphlet that you get. It should be on commercials and TVs to let people know that, hey, you're getting SNAP benefits and it's double at a farmer's market. So let me tell you why that matters. Because right now, SNAP benefits, they give you about $1.86 per meal per person. That is less than the national average of $2.39 or some odd cents per meal per person. And so people are thinking to themselves, well, my SNAP benefits are not enough. Well, let's make them enough. And let's make sure that the stuff you're buying is actually quality nutrition. So when you go to a farmer's market, you're getting 2 for 1. So it doesn't matter what the government's paying out. You're getting better, fresh, quality foods. The farmer and the other businesses in those markets are benefiting. And then we're growing community. We're making sure that the state of Georgia is more profitable and we're keeping more of our dollars in this state. So to answer your question, the problem around food deserts, it's multifaceted, and it's not just going to happen with just saying we need more farmers market, we need more of this. We need to look at this from a spectrum of things to make sure that the people of Georgia benefit the most.
And that is awesome, because one of the things that hit me the most is that we need young, like Melvie said, progressive Democrats that want to make a difference in our communities. Yeah. And one of the things that bothers me a little bit is we got great people like Robert right there. Robert had 2 million votes when he ran for Public Service Commission. We got Jay Jones. We got Daniel Blackman. We got Marcus Thompson. We got some great people that will be great leaders that are younger, a little bit younger than me. I'm 36, so they're a little but and the thing is that I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna see if y'all catch this. What's the dog name?
Coca-Cola. His name is Coke, but it's short for Coca-Cola because everybody think cocaine. No, it's not cocaine. It's Coca-Cola.
So cute.
Now here it is: Alicia, Keisha, Bernetta, Tanya, Sonia, Shalana. What y'all catch out of that?
African American women.
Yeah.
And we need men also to have the same mindset. These women that I just called are awesome. They made a promise and they're doing exactly what they say they were going to do. But we need the public to get behind them.
I agree.
And then women like you who can also have that passion to want to serve the people. And we can tell, you ain't here talking that mumble jumble. You're here talking and articulating the message that we need to hear, and Bernard, y'all there in Atlanta. Bernard, y'all there in Atlanta. We need
you can't go on Bernard's show.
Bernard, no, you can't go on Bernard's show. There in Atlanta, you need to be sounding Nikita Hemingway name in Atlanta. Yeah. We have an audience everywhere, so we need to be getting your name out everywhere that we can get it. We're going to do what we can because we just believe that you're awesome.
Thank you.
Well, fun fact as we close out, because we know we got to move on to the next thing. But you're in Athens, are you? And because I used to live in Athens, I'm a higher ed person by trade, so I've been in the Athens corridor. Are you in Athens or kind of the Bogart?
No. So
Which
I'm
state
in
was-
not even that far. I'm in Decula. So and
Okay.
our farm is in Lawrenceville. We're literally right there. So we're the northeast corner of Gwinnett County. And I'm not sure if you guys know, but I ran in 2020 for House District 104.
Okay.
And my opponent was Chuck F. Strachan. He wrote the hate crimes bill. And
This is hard.
when we talk about representation and why it matters, let me tell you why it matters. In that race, my opponent sent out a flyer with NAACP and African American leaders on that flyer as if he was given permission to send that flyer out to confuse voters. And he actually had to issue a formal retractment of that, apologizing for that, because that's what happens when we don't elect people that represent, who genuinely represent us. They silence us by stealing our voice.
Yeah.
By saying, I recognize you, I'm going to create these opportunities for you. And it's only about creating opportunities for them. And
Right.
by the way, he raised 1.3 million. We raised 160,000. And I want you guys to know that we were 779 votes shy of winning that race, despite the money he had, despite the name recognition he had, despite the fact that he was he sponsored that hate crimes bill. We did that because we showed who we were and we showed what we stood for. And that is what is important. We got to make sure that we show up and we support the right people for the right seats.
That's correct. How many votes that was?
779.
Man, all we needed was 300 and about 70, 80 of those.
Yeah. And we got, that's what I was important.
Yeah.
And I was telling somebody else the other night, it's important to get out the vote. We think our one vote doesn't matter, but it matters. It's a 1 to 3% difference, and your lives are impacted every day by that 1 to 3% decision mark. So
yes, and here's another part that is very important for the now. In 2018, House District 104 was gerrymandered. When my team and I processed those numbers, it was that split precinct where we lost our opportunity. This is a redistricting year. And so we understand how that's going to impact us locally and countywide. This is why you always got to show up for every election, because this could be the difference of healthcare for someone. This could be the difference of education for someone, or the difference of a business being able to launch in a particular place. All these things matter.
All right. Well, we thank you for coming on, Nikita. I'm sure that Julius and his team are going to reach out about the other shows. And whenever you're in Savannah, let me know so I can come over and have shrimp and grits made by your uncle.
Hey, he's gonna love that.
But thank you for having. Great to hear from you, and we love to hear more from you. And Jimmy J, if we don't have a sign on Monday morning, you're gonna have some full flat tires. So we just want you to know that.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure that we get that information from Jay so that we can tell everybody where we can get your signs from. This today, we're gonna have that information today.
Sounds great.
How can people get in touch with you and your website and all?
Yeah, so my website is easy. It's nikitahemingway.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you can't remember all of that, just Google me. I am fortunate and blessed in that I am the only Nikita Hemingway in the world right now. So you're going to find me.
That is awesome. You're the only one.
I am a chemist at University of Virginia, so hey, I love it.
Yes.
Well, good to have you, Nikita. Any more questions, Julie, before we move on? Or
no, we'll just get with us. We'll send you our phone numbers.
Yes.
And emails so you can call us so we can get you arranged to be on all those shows.
That sounds awesome. Thank you so much.
Anything that says Bernard Brown, block it.
Yeah, if you say Bernard Brown, block it. You can go on our Facebook page or our YouTube, and you can find all our shows. See which ones you want to be on. The one last night that Robert was on with Bernard,
No,
You
I
might,
wasn't on that show. The Nature Boy was on that show. I wasn't on
oh
that.
yeah, Nature Boy was on that show. So you might want to look at that and see whether it's something. But you got people in Atlanta that would love to back you. Because see, they don't know you. But now they
Yeah.
do.
Yes.
So and we want them to get the word out about you. So we think you're awesome. So
Thank
we'll
you.
be in touch and make sure if we don't get in touch with you in the next 24 hours, you knock our doors down.
Oh, I
We got
will.
both our emails already
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Sounds good. Thank you so much. I enjoyed our session.
That's
All
good.
right.
We appreciate you now.
Okay.
right.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, we're gonna switch gears for a minute. Look, Bernard Brown. Sit Bernard Brown in lane. We're gonna bring Bernard Brown in this conversation here. I think he's real provocative. He went off last night about the which he should. He went off about the issue with the young people. Bernard Brown, ain't no bye. Bernard, you gonna come join us? Sit in the lane. Come on, Bernard. We need you on this next part.
Ivan Cohen said he was on and he survived.
Look at Ivan was like this the whole night. This was Ivan Cohen, y'all.
Yeah, Ivan, we're gonna have to get you to just sit back like this.
Bernard, come on now. Get in line.
You got to send Bernard to he said bye to her.
Yeah, come on, Bernard. Make
Bernard,
sure you send Bernard those questions.
Bernard might still be hungover because he was trying
Who's
to
this?
all night long. He was trying to all night long, so he might not be available right now, you know.
And Jamal Nut Juice Touré.
Oh Lord, that's the wrong thing. I was trying to send the link, but the link got messed up. We got.
Hold on.
Oh, you sending it to him?
You had to send it through Messenger.
Yeah, but we got about 30 minutes or more left. However long Robert take. Robert said he had a bunch of questions for me. And,
so why don't you kind of give us a quick synopsis? I'm gonna try to send this to Bernard. Just something real quick to kind of give people the.
I'm gonna try to send it to him too, real quick, so he'll have it.
Oh, here you go.
Oh no, it's not coming in.
Hold on, let me. I'm gonna send it through Messenger.
Yeah, my I would have to do something with my.
But no, he don't want you on, Bernard. You see how they got just playing. Bernard, check your Messenger. Check Messenger, Bernard. Check Messenger, Bernard. Boom. I don't know why he got on his profile picture. Got that cross on like he the Pope.
He told me he just got up. Yeah, we know.
That's fine. I did too. But if you know how to work magic, all you gotta do is make it work.
Y'all make sure y'all share this show. Don't be afraid to share it. That young lady is awesome. She's a Savannah native. She lives up near Atlanta now in Lawrenceville. But she is awesome. I was very, 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 very impressed. And, we just need to start getting our young people recognized and in front of everybody. And so that's one of the things that we'll be commissioned to do. Robert, myself, Jay, and the rest of us.
Mm-hmm. Marcus, and then I got a bone to pick with Marcus Thompson. Marcus Thompson be around here posting these drinks and living the lifestyle. Don't invite nobody. Don't invite nobody. And Marlo had to slap him down yesterday.
Yeah, and I forgot about Milo. If I didn't call your name, it's just that I didn't have. It was a spur of a moment thing, especially those women, because we got other women that are serving also. That's been serving for a while. We got Connie Hall. We got Deion Hoskins Brown. We got
Tammy.
Tammy Stokes. We got Tammy Mosley. We got we got some awesome people.
I forgot about Sister Mosley over there. Yeah,
we got some awesome people. Irene Hines. We got people that have served and are serving now, rather. And we want to give thanks for their service also. But what we were saying was that those are the women just came off the top of my head that I'm around or that that I look at all the time.
Oh,
And so we want men to stand up also. We
yeah.
want men to get in the game. Young
But
men
really,
such as Robert, like
yeah.
Robert and Jay and Marcus and Daniel Blackman, all the, we got to start doing some things in this community.
Yeah, really quick, y'all. I posted yesterday. We got a special announcement, and then we'll jump in your piece, Julius. Trying to give Bernard a chance, but while we're waiting for the viewers to know, this will be the only platform right now that will have a debate, a conversation with all 4 candidates for House District Seat 165 to replace Mickey Stevens. SAV ain't got it, JCL ain't got it, but All Things Relevant Media has that debate coming October 9th. So tell your friends, family, and loved ones, it's where it's going to happen. So if you want to get the real news, the real questions, send them in October 9th at noon. You'll see that debate.
Bernard said he waiting. He said he can't open it. Send it again or something. Tanya Milton. It's all kind. We got women serving and that are doing that stepped up to the plate and doing what they're supposed to do in the community. We just need young men to want to serve also.
Yep.
And the thing is not to wait, not to come out when it's time to run. Come out and work on somebody's campaign. Learn what they're going through. Learn the processes and the procedures, and then start getting into these arenas where there are debates and forums and meetings. Join your local political party, whatever affiliation it might be, so you can know the inner workings of these organizations, so you'll know how to move. That all helps, and that's what's needed.
Yeah. So we'll go. We got 20 minutes, and Bernard, we love you, but we got to keep it moving. So we know that the Superior Court hearing was this past week?
Thursday.
And so if you could tell us what happened there and how did that align with what's written in black and white in the Constitution?
Well, what happened on Thursday was my phone, your phone. It's probably Bernard calling you.
Somebody else.
But Thursday we had the hearing to the challenge of my qualifications, and what happened was we agreed to have it dismissed so that we can file the correct paperwork. The correct paperwork is being filed no later than 5:00 today, I would assume, sometime today or tomorrow. It'll be filed. Lawyers file electronically, so it'll be timely filed. And we hope to have a hearing before the judge in the next 7 days, hopefully. Before next Friday, hopefully, because we feel like this is a constitutional issue where you have two conflicting requirements in the Constitution, and it needs to be addressed and cleared up. We don't believe that the powers of the Pardons and Parole Board should be taken lightly. We believe that they were given those powers by the Constitution, and those powers were to remedy things and and give relief to disabilities immediately, not later on. Everybody wants to say that it's a later on solution, but it's not. They didn't have that. They gave restrictions in the order that they gave me, and the only restriction was to carry a gun. Had they wanted me to wait 10 years, they would have said so at that time in that order. They are smart people. They know how long I've been on. If they thought that was one of the conditions, they would have put it in the order. And that's all we're saying. The paper and the news, they want to sensationalize everything. They want to run back to 30 years ago. We're not worrying about 30 years ago. We're worrying about the next 30 years. So if they're saying that it's been that I've been disqualified, well, technically I have, but my appeal process is ongoing. So y'all look to hear, and we'll see what God has to say about that in the next few days.
And so, I mean, does this to you? And I'd love for the supporters to jump in, especially those from Fort Wentworth. Does it equal voter suppression if you're not on that ballot, or if there's some thoughts of maneuvering by those who are already in power?
Well, and you're absolutely right with the voter suppression part of it. My rights were restored, so that makes me a whole citizen. I mean, I always thought of myself as whole, but according to the Constitution, it makes me a whole citizen. So the Constitution is there to protect my rights. The Constitution is not there to hurt me. It is there to protect me. And being that I am a citizen, the Constitution should apply to me to help me instead of hindering or hurting me. So we're asking the court that they look at that in that light, also most favorable to me, being that I am a citizen with my rights restored. So it gave restrictions in that order, but one of the ones is what they're challenging me on. So we're saying that it is an immediate relief to my disabilities. My disabilities was that I could not serve on a jury, I could not serve as a notary, and I could not run and hold public office. This order gave me immediate relief, and that's what we're arguing. Now, the Constitution, on the other hand, says something a little different, even though the Pardons and Parole Board is a constitutional entity and has those powers to give me my rights back immediately. The Constitution also has one word in it that says "and." So it's conflicting disqualifications, disabilities, and it's conflicting reliefs. So we need to get all that settled. And I think the only place that can technically handle it is the Georgia Supreme Court. We're hoping that the judge looks at it in that light and or either rule in my favor and have the Supreme Court correct it. So or to clarify. All we're looking for is clarification. Clarification that is very clear. So we're looking for that in the next few days.
And I'm going to deviate for a minute. What's interesting to me, and those that know me know I don't have a problem saying what I got to say, is that if a person, a person who has paid their debt, and we'll use that language, it's done. Let's move on. But what we're doing in this society, and I think, I talk a lot about criminal justice. The criminal justice system has become a system of capitalism and punishment, not about rehabilitation and forgiveness. But we preach so much, and we'll go to scripture and talk about forgiveness, but then we want to hold this umbrella over people for the rest of their lives. When a person paid their debt, it's time to move on and do something different. What we do now, if I get a speeding ticket, or if you all who are watching get a speeding ticket, you pay the fine, you do whatever, and you move on. It's done. But if we were to akin it to the situation we're in now, or what we see with what we want to call felons, we pay that ticket, and then every time you get in the car, you got to pay another $200 fine. Now, is that really fair? So what I'm saying is, when a person has paid their debt, when that particular sentence or what have you is done, it is done. Restore every single right, unless it's a violent crime or a crime like rape or something like that. It's one of the things that I stand firmly on, and we need people in office to understand that we've got to do different than what we've done 100 years ago. The laws on the book were written for the time they were written in. It's time to reevaluate, and we have a bad habit of not reevaluating things. I say this all the time. We've got to stop even placing people in jail who don't commit violent crimes. We are only hurting ourselves, and we look damn stupid doing it every day. And so it's one of the reasons why I support our current district attorney. She's a forward thinker. She understands these things. But we as a community have got to stop trying to demonize people for things that, A, don't hurt a person, and B, when it's done, it's done. If a person has paid their debt or whatever the fine was, move on, let it go. And like you said, Julius, it's time to, it's in the past. How many of y'all are in situations or relationships and want to go back to talk about that relationship with your current spouse in the room. You don't. So why would you do it to somebody else?
Yeah. Once paid, a debt is no longer a debt. And if you paid your debt to society, it's almost like double jeopardy when you have to come out and do something else on top of what you've already paid for. Um, and what we want to do is be able to have people to live a model life after they get out. These returning citizens need a way to say that I'm engaged, I'm involved, I can help, I can rectify any wrongs that I've done in my past. And I want to be a role model for younger people coming behind me. And that's what this is about. It's not about Julius Hall. I'm not doing this. Hell, I didn't want to run. I didn't. The Spirit led me to run. I was put in a position where we either run or don't have anybody else running for the position. So, and I felt like, so I prayed about it, and this is where God has me. If I get it, then that's what God wants for me. If not, then we'll keep moving and pressing and making sure that this community gets better one day at a time and one person at a time. So,
and let's add to that. I honestly say, especially to our lawmakers and all of that out there and law enforcers, if we want to keep the current system as it is, fine. You want to hold a debt against somebody forever? Fine. Then exempt them from taxes. If you're telling these people that they cannot participate in the system in which they live, then they should not have to pay money or taxes into a system in which they live. That's not fair. So if we want to be real about it, exempt those same people from taxes all around the board. Sales taxes, income taxes, state taxes, property taxes, exempt. So put your money where your mouth is.
that's correct.
That just how. But Ivan said that. And I agree. I got an idea. We're going to talk about this later. Maybe those Block and Julius need to hear this Bob Marley's Redemption song. They probably need to hear it, Ivan, but they don't understand the word. But Julius, I was going to tell you this. We're going to bring Tevin on once a month. We're going to break down the words of some of these songs, especially hip hop. Because if we listen to even today's current rappers like Lil Durk and Lil Baby, you'll understand some things a little better. But a lot of us listen, but we can't understand what the meaning of words.
Right.
When you put words in a sentence, that's a meaning. A lot of people can't get that. But back to your piece. So what's going on now with the campaign, and what are your hopes going forward?
Well, we're still campaigning actively. We hope to put my name back on the ballot. It was removed yesterday, and we're hoping that it goes back on Monday until we get a ruling, because there's some hard dates that we have to get by for the name to stay on the ballot. There's no need in me fighting this. If my name is not on the ballot, then I go to the Supreme Court and win. Then it causes the state a whole lot of money. It's easier to leave my name on the ballot. If the Supreme Court doesn't agree with me, then my votes won't count anyway. So I'll be disqualified. Don't matter if I get 10 times as many votes as my opponent, he'll still win. But we want to be able to be in the game, be in the process, and be in the game, because you can't win it unless you're in it. So that's what we want to be able to have. If I'm disqualified later on by the courts, I'll accept that from the courts, as from our final resolution, if that's what the Supreme Court says, or if that's what the judge in Superior Court here says, that that's what they see. So we'll wait that outcome, but we're actively campaigning. We are still knocking on doors and waving signs. I didn't go around taking my signs down because it's not over. The news press might want to make people think that it is, but it's not. So we'll see in the next 14 days.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So right now, we know that there are people in Port Wentworth that are resisting and engineering this. One in particular that blows my mind is, and talk about the news. You got the main character in this whole thing is in the center of a whole deal where you just magically got this $500,000 to run a tourism company, yet the tourism company doesn't exist. But I have yet to see JCL, SAB, TOC, or Savannah Morning News understand what does that look like.
Yeah,
What's going on there. So you give it. So the mayor's giving his buddy $500,000 of taxpayer money. So there's got to be more going on. What's going on in Fort Wentworth?
The same guy who brought the challenge against me, his company got a $500,000 tourism contract, and they don't even have a building to operate out of. They canceled the contract for the Chamber of Commerce that was here for the last 12 years, doing a great job, and were building and diversifying, and was ready to take the city into a different hemisphere. And they canceled their contract and gave it to some people who are not even qualified, and admitted that they've never done this before. And it's corruption on a level that is just mind-boggling, and nobody's doing anything about it. The GBI should be here investigating. I guess they have to be asked to come in, and I guess that's what somebody on the council needs to do, because this was a travesty. It was malfeasance of office. It was criminal for them to give these people this contract. So that's something that needs to be looked at pretty soon also.
Yeah, and honestly, if all of that, I'm quite sure there's probably more going on, because when you have your finger on the pulse and you got a governor that doesn't do much but blow hot air and is in your party, they're not going to investigate. I mean, Kemp is not going to hurt his own. Kemp sat there and let Trump slap him around, and he still supports Trump. I don't know where they do that at, but hey,
I don't know either.
Kemp uses his knees quite well, so hey, you do it how you do it.
Hey, loyalty can only go so far, and I don't know what's wrong with these Republicans. Ted Cruz did the same thing out in Texas when Donald Trump talked about his father, called his wife ugly. How the hell I'm gonna still support you? You talked about my daddy being a murderer and my wife being ugly, and I'm going to still support you. These Republicans take loyalty to a different level. No, you cannot. But I admire their loyalty, but you cannot be that loyal to anybody except God.
That's a bit much. What is it? I think we got a question. Oh yeah, she said, "Look at this Bernard." Yeah, Bernard hiding behind the computer today. Let's see what these comments say. The fourth estate is not playing their part. Oh Lord. And honestly, and I don't know, I think we talked about this before. What is interesting to me, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, and so I won't go far, and this is probably the last thing we can cover. I don't understand y'all who are in Port Wentworth, especially, any citizen can let this stuff go by. But there's a fifth part of the 5th district, which I'm the district captain for CCDC. Part of the 5th district is out there behind Port Wentworth, and I don't know how you let that happen. So in my mind, it's the current leadership that either sold out or got a kickback or something, because you just don't give up that kind of real estate just because it's a nice thing to do.
You say part of the 5th district?
Yeah, I think the New Hampstead, that piece that's way up there where the warehouses are. That's Chatham, that's Savannah. So that, you know what I'm talking about, right?
It's part of the 5th district of
I believe so. It's that New Hampstead, yeah. But it's Savannah. It may not be 5th district, but I think I'm reading the map correctly.
It's the 1st district.
Okay. But I know it's Savannah, is what I'm saying.
It's the 1st district. Yeah.
Okay.
And you're talking about in between Pooler and Port Wentworth.
Right.
And that's what's the name of the thing?
It's not Jimmy DeLoach, is it?
Yeah, it's off of Jimmy DeLoach.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
It's off of Jimmy DeLoach. I can't even think of the name. My wife represents that area. I can't even think of the name. Somebody will put it up there in a minute. Off of Benton Boulevard. Benton Boulevard. The Highlands. Yeah, there you go. The Highlands. The Highlands is the 1st district. Is in between Pooler, Garden City, and Port Wentworth. It don't even touch Savannah, but it is part of Savannah.
So I mean, where they do that at, I don't know. But my thing is this: at the end of the day, I think it's government overstep. I think it's nobody in the city who holds office needs to have anything to do with this, but we know that they're involved. But just put the names on the ballot and let the voters decide. The voters know what the information is. Let the voters decide.
Yeah.
Let's do
that.
It's
crazy because that's like saying that Atlanta can come on land in Port Wentworth, and then you have Atlanta police have to travel all the way here to police that. Savannah police patrol the part that they own in Port Wentworth. Savannah owns a large piece of land in Port Wentworth where nothing but warehouses off of this industrial park right down the street. And it's crazy.
And if I'm correct, and I don't know this to be true, let's say they're traveling through Garden City, Port Wentworth to get to that property. Savannah police don't have any arrest jurisdiction. Now, the sheriff has arrest jurisdiction throughout the state, but do they really, like, let's say if they catch someone speeding or whatever on the way there, they can't really stop anybody in Port Wentworth, Garden City, or any of that. If there's
I don't know whether they changed that. Back in the day when I was on the police department, we couldn't anything outside of Savannah. We couldn't do it. We didn't have jurisdiction on. But you're a peace officer of Georgia first, so you do have arrest powers in some instances. And I think they might have changed that where they have arrest powers throughout the state now.
Okay,
so they'll be able to do it, but I think they're advised not to.
So I need to slow down then. Okay.
Yeah, slow down when you're coming through Port Wentworth and you see a Savannah.
Oh no, I don't speak to look here. I got a cousin that live right around the corner from you. I don't speak out of Port Wentworth. As a matter of fact, we got a little bit loud one night. I was like, I'm out. I don't need that answer. All right, well, we reached that time. We're gonna get out of here, and so hopefully we'll hear some better news from you next week or the weeks to come.
Okay, we'll keep you updating you. Y'all will see it. But stay prayerful and stay vigilant. And we're here and we're going to fight and we're going to press on. And whatever God has, that's what we'll be doing.
That's right. And Jimmy J, we need our signs, buddy.
Yeah, Jimmy J, get our signs to us as soon as possible. And like I said, those people whose name I didn't call, we're going to run across the whole list of all the leaders in this city who are doing great things. In this county, rather, who are doing great things, because I got two here in Port Wentworth, Councilman Thomas Barbie and Councilman Mark Stevens. Awesome leaders. They are doing what's right for the people. So we're going to showcase all these people and let the people know to come on out. Don't be scared. We want some progressive leaders to step up to the plate.
That's it.
Derek Milo, my man. So. Don't forget.
All right, we'll see you next week. We I forgot what we got on the list, but we know October 9th, we have the candidates for House District 165 at noon. So with that, we'll see you next time.
All right. Good night.
I messed that one up.